say something in the microphone. It's a test, testing.
Testing, testing.
Speak up.
It was testing, testing. Is that good? Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the Baldwin County Public School System's PreK Lottery. Tonight we have with us a few people here who will be monitoring from the State Department. We have Edie Wortham and Leah Stonecker who will be monitoring to make sure we're following all protocols. I also have with us tonight Allison Ray, who is our PreK consulting teacher. We have Nilda Lehman, who works with our English language learners. I have Jennifer Bedgood from our office as well, who's helping monitor, and Kurt Smith with the Baldwin County School System. And I'd also like to thank the secretaries from the Federal Programs Department, Susan Johnson and Shalane Ryder, for helping us get everything ready. My name is Ashley Klolinger, and I'm the Federal Programs Coordinator for Baldwin County. And this evening, we are going to do this lottery and this drawing. I know you're all excited to find out whether or not your baby was selected, so we'll get going. A few things to keep in mind: acceptance and waiting list letters have already been mailed to a few schools, either because that school did not have enough students to have a waiting list, or because that school is selected by a process called a multiple criteria selection. Those schools are funded with title funds, and those students have been selected based on greatest need. Pre-K in Baldwin County started in the 2005-2006 school year with 6 classes. We have added sites almost every year, and we now have a total of 34 pre-K classes throughout the county. If you applied online January 19th through February 12th, you will be sent an email from ASAP April 16th through 18th regarding the status of your application. Please reply to this email as instructed. Some schools have already received their letters, or if you're drawn tonight, you will receive an acceptance letter or waiting list letter from our office. If you applied online at an ASAP after February 12th, you automatically were added to the wait list unless the program was not full. The schools that the letters have already been mailed to include Delta, Stapleton, Summerdale, Silver Hill, J. Larry Newton, Pine Grove, Perdido, and Foley. Those names will not be drawn tonight because those letters have already been mailed. The pre-K programs in Baldwin County are funded by both state and federal grants. These grants have differing criteria for the student selection. The Title I federal program grants require that we use a multiple criteria selection process that I mentioned earlier. This includes a developmentally appropriate screener, a parent questionnaire, and a teacher observation. Those results from that multiple criteria selection was used to fill those slots for those Title I positions. The Office of School Readiness with the Alabama State Department grants require us to use a random drawing for student selection. Tonight we will begin this process. All pre-K classes will begin with 18 students enrolled unless there are not enough students to fill that class. If there are multiples within a class, that includes twins, triplets, etc., we will, if one is selected, then the others are also automatically added to the class. We will first announce the students selected using the multiple criteria. If a class has both multiple criteria and drawing students, we will list those who were already selected, and then we'll move on with the drawing for those schools. We have 2 classrooms that we draw all students. These were not funded by Title I at all. We have Orange Beach High School, which is a grant through the state and the city of Orange Beach. And then we have Fairhope High School, which is also done through a different type of grant with the state. So we'll begin with those 2 schools where we will draw 18 names. First will be Orange Beach Elementary School. Oh, I'm sorry, Orange Beach Elementary, not high school. All names are on this list, and we will draw the names as we go through. We will draw the first 18 names selected will be the ones in the class for this next year. Brooks Lemon, Mason Abate, Elizabeth Bingston, Reed Williams, Nakota Reedman, Miles Knabb, Colton Carey, Finley Reeves, Noah Turner, Grayson Lee, River Rutherford, Tucker Staggs, Riker Slay, Jace Hartley, Parker Reddle, Samuel Hurst, Knox Forbes, Eliza Morgan. That's our 18. The next will go into our waiting list. Waylon Armstrong, Bodie Miles, Andre Simonson, Walter Tanner. That concludes the list for Orange Beach Elementary School. Next, we will begin with Fairhope High School. There will be 18 names selected for this program as well.
Alohilani Fayupu,
Connor Price, Charlotte Naulty, that's three stuck together, Aiden Morissette, Callie Price, Quinn Overbeck, I'm sticking, Josephine Pace, Madeline McDonald, Madeline Van Landingham, Dallas Limbaugh, Kyson McCovery, Baker Smith, Nathan McShane, Lincoln Wenzel, Jillian Pickett, Archer Watts, they're sticking together, William Wade, Luke Olive. That's 18. That's the 18 for the Fairhope High School class. We will continue with the waiting list. Daniel Steele, Emily Wells, Kinsley Wellborn, Elijah Withington, Allison Bellings, Damian Torres, Jackson Smith, Aiden Miller, Edward Shiftlet, Emma Jemison, William Bingham, Autumn Bannister, Mason Gage Vandergrift, Harvey Peebles, Baker Long, Joylia Marcinko, Keith Horn, Finley Forns, Jackson Ottman, Anaya Howard, Andrew Marshall, Edgar Ellis, Sailor Ford, Lillian McKellar, Ruby Coffey, Adeline Williams. We had a big turnout for the Fairhope High School class, so that class and waiting list has now been drawn. Next, we will move on to Rosington Elementary School. At Rosington, there were 2 that were selected by multiple criteria. That was Asher Danton and Edgar Messias. We'll be drawing names. Avery Enfinger, Leighton Comer, Vivian McNamara, Emily Ellison, Graham Norman, Briella Huffman, Brycelyn Steele, Elijah Dore, Cambry Ojeda, Rhett Lassiter, Ava Cuculo, Tristan Wilson, Hattie Porter, Cynthia Turner, Eleanor Black, and Blakely Ward. Next will be the waiting list for Rosington. James Melton, Tegan Driver, Connor Middleton, Tristan Rudolph, and Bryn Crutchfield. That's our class for Rosington and waiting list. Next will be Locksley. With Locksley, we will draw 15 names. We have Hayden Richmond, Christopher Thomas, Adeline Thomas. Christopher and Adeline are twins. Piper Cowan, J.C. Atkins, Camden Collins, Samuel Graves, Thomas Thwett, Kyle Wallace, Benjamin Starkley, Declan Cunningham, Nicholas Geronimo, McKinley Forrester, Kinsley Lee, Lakeland Curry, Owen White, Kenna Clemens, sorry, and Cameo Cruz. Next will be our waiting list for Locksley Elementary School. Nevaeh Barlow, Christian Williams, Asher Close, Saul McCarty, Raylan Prim, Christopher Meade, Matthew McQueen, William Irvin, Piper Thompson, Allie Askew, Amelia Lazari, Noah McInvale, and Lila Bailey. That is all for our Locksley class. That was both the list for students and the waiting list. Next will be Elsinore. Elsinore, we will draw 16 names. Adelaida Guzman and Landon Williams are our first two. Ash Banton, Natalyn Steele, Dawson Waters, Coralie Owens, Briley Bowling, David Asher Helms, Emily Boyington, Layla Vaughn, James Melton, Sophia Solomon Rickett, Mackie Ladner, Carter Harris, Brinley Morrison, Ellie Goodman, Levi White, and Leland Lucas. Next will be our waiting list. Olivia Devine, Georgia Haley, and Chad Varnador. Our next school that we will draw is Baymonette Elementary School. There are 2 classes, so we will be drawing a total of 32 names to fill the 2 classrooms at Baymonette. Already selected by the multiple criteria process is Adrian Bowling, Aiden Ancombe, Brianna Barnes, and Jackson Means. Eloise Stevens, Marcus Andrews, Justice Reynolds, Dominic James, Skylar Shipp, Ava Williams, Owen Luke Davis, Kiefer Downey, DeMarcus McMillan, William Stewart, Josephine Zavala, Tanner McMillan, Peyton Faulkner, Madison Warren, Jordan Chapman, Kinsley Henderson, Braylon Mook, Colton Gills, Caleb Powers, Zalea Adams, Nova Johnson, Charlie Andrews, Joseph Hadley, Trevor Taylor, Faye Stevens, Grayson Stevens, John Hall, Miles Cox, Macy Johnson, Zoe Bradley, Dallas Butler, Adam Beasley, and for our waiting list, we have Emberly Day. That is all for Baymonette. Next will be Alberta Elementary. We're drawing 16 names. There are 2 classes there, so first we'll go through those selected with multiple criteria. Madison Bates, Castile Perez, Waylon Pierce, Jade Mickles, Brendan Stout, Edward Norris, Allison Stokely, River Parker, Nova Summers, Savannah Powell, Sadie Bartlett, Jolene Carswell, Kyle Van Pruyen, Luna Kressler, Abbott Hood, Briley Mack, Emma Terrell, Rise Sherman, Malaya Johnson, and Colton Harrell. We will draw 16 names. Braden Botts, Tyler Stanchio, Miles Pagel, Kate Bunn, Grayson Hall, Timothy Bratton, Finley Ekman, Lillian Bitto, Maisie Brown, Lorelei Garofalo, Waverly Chris, Griffin Briley, Merrill Jackson, Knox Adams, Lakeland Ezel, and Lucy Brock. Next will be the waiting list. Elijah Bartle, that's Elijah Bartle. Brett O'Neill. Riverly Slay. Adeline Moore. Chasen Burge. Marky Burt. Rylan Aho. Catherine Hudson. Silas Vandermeer. Caden Connell. Ava Poole. Jackson Murphy. Samuel Postles. Tanner Sanders. Chase Driscoll. Waylon Rowlett. Liam Campbell. That's all for the Alberta drawing and waiting list. Next will be Magnolia. Magnolia has 2 classes. First, I will give the names of the multiple criteria, then we will draw 16. Copper Allender, Paisley Sims, Silas Skeeto, Ivy Keaton, Noah Townser, Brantley Wiggins, Lila Davison, Rayleigh Fulford, Jaden Thompson,
Natalia Jiménez Orozco,
Abigail
Fuentes,
Addison Leon, Javon Nettles,
Jesús Lemus, Tesset Siles,
Zoe Mosley, Hazel Hobbs, Finley Brannigan, Kyson Call, and Rowan Hughes. Spencer Wainsley, who is a twin. Faith Butler, who is a twin. There were multiple sets of twins at Magnolia. Blaine Erskine. Aldrich Haduskek. Elizabeth Moore. Eva Walker. Mercy Butler. I think that's the twin. Rufus Ducote. Ella Eaton. Kinsley Frost. Levin Wilson. Farah Younce. Ava Kate Cody. Walter Thomas. Mackenzie King. That's all for the 2 classes. We will draw the waiting list next. Ava Overstreet. Colin Orr. Margaret McKenzie. Ella Noski. Rhodes, Wainsley, this is the other twin. Macy Nicole Zuniga. Preston Chiganero.
Ciganero.
Rachel Sheets. And Delaney Jones. That completes the drawing for Magnolia. Next will be Robertsdale. There's 2 classes there. We will draw 16 names. We'll begin with their students who have already been selected. Nehemiah Pleasant, Serena Touchton, Brendan Plaskett, Rivi Saskin, Jackson Antonellarella, Siler Dugan, Kinsley Taylor, Connor Burton, Samuel Everett, Lauren Garner, Emmeline McIntosh, Jaden Geronimo, Bailey Williams, Alton Bates, Reagan Garrett, Olivia Johannesman, Jasmine
Garfias Rodriguez.
Wyatt Vivar, Ian Bears, and Elijah Eichner. We'll be drawing 16. Jocelyn Rogers, Brennan Cook, Caitlin Jones, Zariah Comstock, Olivia Galvin, Oakland Butler, Millie Langley, Kane McNorton, Charlotte Turk, Rhett Douglas, Keely Hall, Jaden Aguilar Velasco, Michael Tynes, Dorothy Statska, Camilla Geronimo Venegas, Randy Price, and then we'll do the waiting list for Robertsdale. Walker Wilkes, Catherine White, and Scarlett Karpinski. Next is Florence B. Mathis. We have 2 classes. We will be drawing 16 names. Braylon Ostermeyer, Zoe Robinson, Lila Villegas, Jonathan Wesley, Kingston Cluck, Brianna Canales Garcia, Dylan Romero Gallo, Leighton Heron, Davis Doro, Robert Chisenhall, Caden Graham, Kellen Ferreira Fuentes, Kennedy Thomas, Daniela Gonzalez, Orlando de los Santos, Ashley Hernandez Sandoval, Christian Pate, Charles Stewart, Alani Prim, Jasmine Zavala. We will draw 16 names to complete the classes at Mathis. Mallory Brown, Abby Bailey, Delta May, Jaden Kiev, Blakeland McLean, J.C. White, Connor Stewart, Evelyn Rollins, Deacon Tomlinson, Hadassah Vargas, Sawyer Metz, Annabelle Frith, Braylon Lamar, Gavin Kirchar, Elijah Dixon, and Claire Chiraboa. Next, we will have our waiting list. Owen Aaron, Jalen Granger, and Atticus Ellis. Our last class for this evening is Daphne. Our last school is Daphne Elementary. We have 2 classes there, and we will draw 12 names. From multiple criterion selection, we had Marcus Maxwell, Patience Roberts, Mason Hardin McCants, Elliot Oliver, William Ellard, Paris Ramos Nettles, Xander Gerard, Alice Staley, Jacob Gagnard, Everett Kane, Wilder Barnes, Dalton Hurst, Bentley Maynard, Kaysen Bates, Ember Duckworth, Abigail Ramos Plaza, Tatum Tomley, Reagan Firestone, Nyla Coleman, Benley Marsh, Asher Stanton, Loki Wendell, Zoe Nur, and Michael Millette. We're drawing 12. Carrie Daniels, Scarlett Newsom, Daniel Elgie, Lakin Burmeister, Thisbe O'Day, Tammy Silvera Anderson, Cullen Steiner, Christian Myrick, Francesca Morrisroe, Caroline Sears, Nora Sechrist, and Ethan Pastorich. Next will be the waiting list for Daphne. Cruz Norsworthy, Aaron Peak, Francis Bloom, Logan Wood, Macy Bodiford, Lena Daughtry, Finley Miller, Bentley Taylor, Eli Hudson, Lily Nicelonger, Violet Bettencourt, June Safey, Charlotte Taylor, Kiera Scott, Mason Lambeth, Robert Arthur. That was our final school, and that concludes our drawing. Thank you so much for joining us this evening as we selected those names. If you were one of the ones selected in our drawing or your name was called this evening, you will be receiving a letter from our office that will inform you what your next steps need to be. Also, don't forget to look for the email in the middle of April, the 16th through the 18th from ASAP. You'll need to respond to that as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great evening.